Right. So we are going through this, that if you fail the NCLEX, how do you bounce back? And you're not just bouncing back, but you're going to bounce back stronger and stronger. So let's start with this. It's very, very important that when we go through a failure, how we see the failure really matters. How we see the failure really matters. How you interpret the failure will play a huge role in how you're going to do going forward. So first and foremost, if you are at that place, you feel that I did not make it the first time and so it's over for me and so I throw in the towel. If you are at that place, I would want you to take this first step.
I failed my exam, but I'm trying to normalize the situation.
Normalize the experience. Failing in life does not mean that you aren't capable. It's just that maybe your preparation did not meet the standard that NCLEX required of you. And remember, millions have taken the test, and millions and thousands are retesting every year, and they succeed afterward. And that is why NCSBN even allows multiple attempts, because they know that even when you do not make it the first time, you can still do it again. So one score does not define your ability. It doesn't mean that you are not good enough. So let's take this in so well. Normalize the experience. The failure is an event. It does not define you. You are not a failure. You just did not make it in the exam the first time, and you are going to surely make it. So let's look at the second point. It's important that you do the reflection. Do not let the failure cloud your judgment. Sometimes we get into that mode and we begin to blame ourselves and say a whole lot that why didn't I make it the first time? Maybe I should have done that. All the could haves and all the could haves and all the should haves sometimes tends to cloud our judgment. We are not able to genuinely assess and reflect. So if you've not done that yet, this is a beautiful opportunity to do that reflection. There is so much power in reflection, and it starts right from the reports that you receive. So that is why NCLEX will not just be done with you when you do not make it. You receive your CPR, the candidate performance report, and the report will help you identify the various areas that you were tested on, and then you're able to know how you did in all of those areas, whether you were below the passing score or whether you were near the passing score. And it helps a lot that you are able to see. It brings out some areas of your weaknesses, and based on that, you can now craft a focused study. So that's why I said that failure is not about you. Failure is a feedback. So you have to dive into your CPR, look at the various categories, and you will be able to craft a beautiful study plan and start working at it. So I'll be sharing some real life scenarios so that when you find yourself in it, you realize that all hope is not lost. I'm using the first letter of their names. So let's say Nurse M. Nurse M did a bounce back. She failed on the first attempt when she went through it all to the very end. And then when she got her CPR, she realized that pharmacology and the management of care was very bad. So she did a focused preparation, got a good study planner, got help, and went at it again. And with a good strategy, with her content on point, and with the right mindset, right at 85, her test ended and she passed. So this is how the CPR is. If you did not make it, you should have received this. So if you didn't make it, you should have this CPR, and it spells out the various areas that you were tested on, and you look at your performance level. And if you look at all these areas and you haven't below, it means that you still have to master those those areas. So this will help reveal your strengths and your weaknesses, and you craft a study plan using this. So this will be the portion for clinical judgment. So you look at how you're able to recognize cues, analyze cues, prioritize hypotheses, generate solutions, take actions, and evaluate outcomes. And for this portion, it will be tested mostly with the case studies, because for every case study you have 6 sections for that particular question. So the first question will be crafted. So when you count these, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for every case study, they're going to test you on these 6 parameters. So you get the first question on the case study, and it will be to recognize the cue. So maybe there are some vital signs, the history and all of that, and you're supposed to pick out, okay, maybe this client has been on opioids and I see that the respiratory rate is reduced. So okay, I pick that, likely respiratory depression from opioid use. So you will be tested recognizing cues. And then, so if you've recognized it, how are you going to analyze it? So you'll be asked a follow-up question in the second question under that same case. Then the third question, prioritizing the hypothesis. So what do you deal with first? So what will kill your patient first? So this is telling you that, okay, so when you got a lot of case studies and you got below in all of them, means that you were not doing so well in even looking at the history that you were given, the labs, everything. You were not able to recognize what was wrong. You analyze the respiratory rate, which was low, to say that, okay, this client is on opioid and is likely due to respiratory depression from opioid use. You were not able to analyze it. And when you were asked to prioritize, what will you do first? You could not even tell. And how were you going to solve it? Generating solutions, you were not able to do that. And then the action, what will you do? So, okay, maybe we've given the client, we've stopped the opioid, client has been put on oxygen, and we are monitoring the oxygen saturation and all of that. And then follow up, what will you be monitoring? Okay, so maybe you'll be watching out for the oxygen saturation to see whether it's increasing, like it's okay now, and we check the respiratory rate, is it decreasing? So they're going to ask you follow-up questions on that same case. So that's why for every case study, you're going to have 6 parts, and it will be testing all of these. So if you have your CPR in front of you and you haven't below in all of these areas, it means that you may not have done so well in the case studies. You were able to pick up cues and you're able to go through all of these routes. So I hope this helps with the CPR. So take your time, look at the CPR and identify your areas of strengths and your areas of weaknesses. And then you craft a study plan emphasizing on your weaknesses, but you still do well to read on the areas of your strengths. So based on that, you now have to change your strategy, because if you use one strategy and right before you having a failure, that is feedback that the strategy did not work. And I guess we may all have heard that term that is insanity to keep doing the same things and expecting a different result. So if you did the same thing and the outcome was failure, then if I stay on the same route I took the last time, I'm going to get to the same place. Like if I get out of home and I know that I take this route, it will surely lead me to Walmart. So if I want to go to Costco, I'm not going to Walmart. Why am I going to take that route? It will take me right to Walmart. I don't want to go there. So if I want to go to Costco, then I have to change my direction. If I want to pass, then I have to change my strategy. I should not still stay in my old strategy. So if your old strategy was just answering a lot of questions, but you were not doing it well, what was the strategy for your answering of questions? Reviewing content. Were you just answering questions? Were you reviewing the rationales in depth? Were you taking time to read on all the topics that you answered questions on, like every day, or you just read through it, and even when you met questions on that topic, because you did not have an in-depth knowledge in that area, you still could not answer the questions? And just as I took you through how the case studies are even crafted, and you had challenges with case study, did you really take your time to even look at the website, see how there are some examples of case studies there and how you're going to see it during your exam? Did you really take your time to look at how the flow goes? Because for the case studies, you're going to have the history, every relevant information needed for you to make a diagnosis. You have everything, vital signs, any relevant past medical history, and then lab. So you have a lot of things to look at and analyze. And if you do not keep your composure, the plenty information will just confuse you, and you may not be able to take the right answers. So analyze your strategy. strategy and then change that strategy. And this should be a great guide to help you know how you're going to strategize. I always show this. This is to help you know that the NCLEX test plan has a way questions are distributed, okay? And you're going to have, if you're doing your study plan, you should have all these areas in your study plan. You know that you're going to have physiological adaptation here, so that is under physiological integrity. So we have under physiological integrity, we have all these topics: basic care and comfort, pharmacological and parenteral therapies, reduction of risk potential, and then physiological adaptation. So all of this comes under physiological integrity. Then we have psychosocial integrity. That covers, so this is the percentage. So physiological integrity, these are the percentages for the various topics here. And psychosocial integrity, 6 to 12%. Psychosocial integrity usually will have topics around psychiatry. Then we have health promotion and maintenance, and you have to do well to know all the areas: safety and infection control, know all the areas, management of care, and know what will be required of you. So this is the test plan. So if you are studying and you have scheduled your exam, and for the topics you have reviewed, you've not to look at all of them, then it means that you are not fully prepared. So you have to do well to cover every part of it. See, management of care, safety and infection control, health promotion and maintenance, psychosocial integrity, basic care and comfort. Basic care and comfort comes with all the tubes and lines for clients. You have to make sure you know that inside out positioning, the various positionings and the indications. When will you put a client in a Fowler's position? When will you put a client in a Trendelenburg position? All of that, they are needed. And pharmacology. In pharmacology, you're not even just doing the drugs. We have parenteral therapies as part of it, the IV fluids. All of that, you have to learn them under pharmacology. So take a look at this. You can find this on the website as well. Look at the distribution, although it will differ. So it states here that NCLEX RN examinations are administered adaptively in variable length format to target candidates' specific ability. So the exam seeks to pull out what is within you. So that's why it's a CAT, computerized adaptive testing. So immediately you start, and maybe you started with pediatrics. So no two candidates will have the same kind of questions. So you may be sitting in the same exam hall, but based on your ability, the computer will present some kind of questions to you. So let's say yours started with pediatrics and it started with maybe epiglottitis. And epiglottitis is a must know and high yield for NCLEX because it involves the respiratory tract. And if you are not able to find out what to do, you're going to lose that child. And you did not do well on that. The computer noticed that it's going to bring you a question around safety in maybe pediatrics, and still you did not do well. You're going to get another around that in pediatrics. So you finish your exam and you're going to say, looks like I was getting a lot of pediatrics questions or pediatric emergency, because the computer has realized that he is not safe, she's not safe in this area. We have to really test her, or we have to test him to be sure he's safe before you move on to maybe another area. So it's a CAT exam, and it's going to adapt based on how you are testing. So to accommodate possible variation in the exam length, content area distributions of the individual exam may differ up to +3 or -3% in each category. So although this is a test plan, each one of you will have like different kind of questions based on how your test goes. So you started with case studies, you are not analyzing the cues so well, you are unable to generate solutions, you are just not doing well the case. The computer will notice it, and then you will be getting a lot of case studies. And then if you do not keep your composure, you think that, oh my God, it's really getting difficult. No, the computer is adapting to how you are testing. So that's why when you start, most candidates will say that the first few questions were kind of difficult, but maintain your composure because the computer is trying to size you up. So maintain your composure, think safety, and then get it right. And then the computer will pick your ability and you'll be able to get like friendly questions, and it really increases your chances of passing and even getting your exam to end at 85 because the computer is satisfied that you are good. Because the exam will end when the computer is satisfied at that confidence interval that you are above, like you are passed, or like there's no way you're gonna pass. So the computer will just shut. So please, let's take note of the test plan. So let's look at this story for Nesty. And for his bounce back, he had failed twice, and he realized that throughout his studies, he was rather memorizing. He was not really sharpening his thinking. So he had to work around that to be able to think through questions, think through the history, medical history, labs, and everything given. And he had to practice thinking. And on the third attempt, he passed. So do the work, figure out what your weaknesses are, and then start working on them. So let's look at this number 6 point. You need to build your endurance. NCLEX will not only be testing you on content, what you know, but your endurance, because it's a long test, 5 hours, so you may have prepared. But what if you did not really prepare yourself for that long day sitting by a computer? So it's important that you start putting yourself in that mode. Just like an athlete going for a marathon will start months ahead. They put themselves in that marathon mode. So their heart, their muscles, every part of their being is in the marathon mode. So you may have been so cozy studying and you think, oh, we were really studying. But have you put yourself in that NCLEX mode that when you are put down in a seat for 4 to 5 hours, you'll be able to maintain your composure, your thinking capabilities, and still be able to read through questions and pick the right answer until you really test yourself before the test. The main test should not be the day you are testing yourself. I'm doing a lot of rhyming here, but I hope you get me. Can I get some thumbs up? I want to be sure I'm making sense as I talk about this endurance bit, because some people may not have made it through, but it was because of the endurance bit. If what I'm sharing so far is making sense, kindly give me a thumbs up. Kindly give me a thumbs up. Great, great, great. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Great. Thank you so much. So your endurance will be tested. It's not only about the content. So your endurance will be tested. It's not all about, yes, you have to get the content in. So start preparing for the marathon. That when you have been so relaxed and you are studying, going to, oh, I've answered a lot of questions, I've read the content back to back, but have you put yourself on a seat before your computer and let's say, okay, every day or every week I will do 2 sessions or 3 sessions or even 1 session, I'll answer about 75 questions at a go. The next time, so do a graded approach, increase it to 85, increase to 100, increase to 150. Put yourself under that exam condition so that by the time you go sit for the main exam, your body, your soul, and your spirit already knows that already. So it's going to be another kind of practice that you've been doing already in your home, although this one will be in the exam hall. So please do well, build the stamina, and it really goes a long way to help you to ace the exam. So let's look at this other story. It happens to a lot of candidates as well. Next A, how she bounced back. For her, it was all about panicking. Like I shared with you, when at the exam, it may seem like it's becoming so difficult. And we've all been through exams before. When you start the exam and you start first 10 to 15 questions and they are so difficult and your brain starts playing tricks on you that, oh my God, this exam, am I going to come back to do it? I can remember when I was taking my radiology board exam. I am a radiologist, and the first few questions for one of our clinical exam MCQs, it was so difficult, and I kept confessing as I was choosing the answers. Like, I know this is not correct, but I kept confessing. I said, God, I'm not coming back to do this exam. I am not doing a research. I will make it in this exam. You have to boost your own confidence as you go. But if you shoot yourself in the foot right from the beginning and you start panicking, oh my God, I did not master select all that apply questions. I don't know. What should I choose? Should I just choose one or choose 2? And you start panicking. Immediately you panic, you are triggering your fight or flight system. And you're going to get a lot of adrenaline in your system. Your heart is going to beat. and that shuts down your ability to think critically, and your critical judgment and thinking is being tested. So you can't afford to shut down that system. So you have to stay calm even when it's getting harder, because for most candidates it looks like the computer will adapt to you. You are doing well, then okay, so let's give her or let's give him some harder questions to see how she will fare with it. So even when it's getting harder, for most candidates it looks like they were doing well. So no matter how the questions will go, whether it's difficult or whether it's a lot of case studies, yes, that's what the computer is giving you. Put yourself together. You may have heard from someone who has written that, oh, I had this, and yours will be different. It's not going to be the same because the computer is going to adapt to your testing. So whether you're going to get a lot of pediatrics, a lot of pharmacology, a lot of select all that apply, a lot of case studies, just put yourself together, because you are there to win and you are there to fight. So it's a fight and I must win. So don't start shooting yourself in the foot by panicking. And for Nurse A, on retaking the test, she realized that she had to work on her anxiety. She stayed calm, went through it, and passed at 85. So you passing, I would say that you passing is like, it's directly proportional to your ability and not activate your anxiety center. So please have that at the back of your mind. Whenever you go and test and you are getting anxious, remember, I think I should be there to whisper this. Remember my voice saying that no, be anxious for nothing. Stay calm, stay calm. The next important tip is,
I need to pass my NCLEX exam. MedCognito will help me get there.
get expert guidance, because sometimes you may be on a route and you may have some blind spots. You think you are doing it all right. You are studying, you know the test plan, and you feel you are doing all right. But why is it that the outcome is different? You have written a lot of times and are not passing. Get expert guidance. See how we have athletes and footballers and all of the people even in sports. They have coaches, people who are guiding them so that they can succeed in that sport. So who is guiding you? Who is giving you expert guidance? Or you are getting information from a lot of sources, and at the end, information overload, and you do not know what to do. Oh, I got a bit from here, I got a bit from McClemic, I got a bit from Nurse M, I get a bit from that, and you don't even know what to do. So it's important that if you are in a position to invest in a program like our structured program we have here, because the structure has already been created for you and is working. So you also get into the system, you're already studying, and then you have structure now, and it really increases your chances of passing. The success rate is higher for candidates who enroll in guided, like tested preparatory programs. So I'll surely share the link. Anyone who would need guidance and expert support, we are here. Because sometimes your problem may not even be content. It will just be being coached how to stay calm, how to even read through questions, how to choose the right answer. That may be your challenge. So Nurse D, he failed once and he thought he could not do it again. But with the right support system, having the right mentors around him, reminding him that you are good enough. Sometimes you just need someone to tell you know it already, but you just need someone to tell you and boost your confidence. And with support and accountability and with the right structure, he took it again. And yes, he made it. Nurse D passed. So I'll emphasize on the anxiety. Manage your test anxiety. Sometimes you did not make it not because you prepared. You did not make it because you activated your anxiety center, which was not needed during the exam. So how are you able to calm yourself? You can start practicing that. What really calms you down? Start rehearsing it. Is it that when I take in deep breaths? If you are a Christian or whichever religion, you believe in prayer. If prayer calms you down, do that. Mindfulness. Practice what will help you. Your natural anxiolytic. Get it ready, because yes, exam will trigger anxiety, but get your anxiolytic, your special anxiolytic ready, your natural way of relaxing yourself, so that when you are tipping into anxiety, you can just recenter your nervous system. Because you know that we have the parasympathetic and sympathetic system. The sympathetic is the fight or flight. So if you tell your body that, hey, we are in trouble, we need to flee, we need to run, and adrenaline will pump into your blood. When the adrenaline pumped in, your heart rate will increase. It shuts down your prefrontal cortex, your ability to think, because when you are running from maybe a lion, at that time you need all the energy in your muscles and your eyes to dilate for you to run away. It shuts down your thinking. So anytime you are activating your sympathetic system, you are shutting down your thinking. Remember that. So you have to rather activate your parasympathetic system. That is the relaxed state. To breathe in, breathe out, get yourself in the relaxed state as much as possible so you can think through the question. And it's interesting that for many people that I've spoken to, when they were able to work on calming their nerves, like Dr. Julia, it made a lot of difference. It made a lot of difference. So yeah, Ms. P, she failed with her first attempt due to panic attacks, like panicking throughout, and on working on anxiety. Yeah, she passed smoothly. So there is hope. All is not lost. There is hope. All is not lost. So let's look at this. The timeline is very important. For me, I've gotten to a point in life, I always tell myself that I will not let anyone put pressure on me and determine my time. We are all different. We have different capability. We have different circumstances surrounding us, even our family dynamics. You may be married with kids, or you have like a lot to deal with. So plan your own timeline. Sometimes maybe immigration issues and you have to get your license, and you have a lot of anxiety surrounding you passing the exam. So that's why sometimes I end up not even passing it, because to Julia, I need it for that. I need this for that. I've gotten my job. I have to get this license. So anytime you put that pressure on you, you end up you work under pressure and you end up not doing your best. So take your time. Yes, you're allowed to retest like after 45 days, but ask yourself, am I ready? So do well and be honest with yourself, your current situation, family dynamics, even your strength, your mental health status. Are you dealing with some breakups or marital challenges? Like, take all of that into consideration and make sure that you are fully prepared. You have done simulation exams and you are getting good marks, and you know that when you go sit for the exam, you will do well. So candidates who give themselves realistic timelines are successful. So do not rush. Take your time and do it right and do it well. Learn from your mistakes. What did not work before? I always say, there's this term I use. I do a lot of coaching. I have this term. I'm trying to remember. I always say that what brought you here will not take you there. What brought you here? So what brought you into that failure will not take you into success. It will not take you there. So learn, identify, do that audit, identify your mistakes. Write them down. Go back to the drawing board and work on how you're not going to make those mistakes again. If you do not identify them, if you do not work on them and you show up again, it's like patterns are interesting, they will repeat because you did not work on them. So don't focus so much on what you missed. Focus on why. Why did I miss a lot of case studies? Focus on why and learn from your mistakes. And remember, NCLEX is testing how safe you are. So as you're doing the exam, it's not even so much about, oh, I'm getting the right answer or not. It's about safety. The computer is judging. Is she choosing what will keep her patient alive? So go into the exam room knowing that you are prepared and that you are safe. And you have to even be safe to be able to practice. And remember, because of safety being tested, you have to learn a lot around prioritization and safety before you go sit for the exam. So I hope with what I've shared over the past few minutes, someone is encouraged, someone has been gingered to take the right route, the right strategy with the right mindset, focus on content, and walk into the exam hall fully prepared, knowing that your outcome is only going to be one, is success or not, because you have gone through it, you have received your feedback, and you have done your homework well. Do your homework well, it will surely reflect in the test. Yes, sometimes you may have prepared a lot, the exam may go some way, but it's testing how safe you are. So if you are safe, you are safe. The computer will detect you are safe and you will pass. So failure is not the end. Failure is feedback. So do not walk around in shame that you did not make it, telling your story to everybody and trying to apportion blame. No blame game. No one is to be blamed. You take full responsibility and you take the feedback honestly, and you will bounce back stronger. You do the reflection, get your strategy down, build the resilience, and you will pass. So if this session has blessed you, let me get some feedback. Let me get some amen, amen, hallelujah, hallelujah. And I think there's this verse that comes to mind. If you are Christian, it says that, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but He's given us the spirit of power, love, and sound mind. You have power, you have love around you, you have sound mind. Tap into that. Do not tap into what God has not given you, because He has not given you the spirit of fear. So cast away every fear. When we read from Job says that what I feared most came upon me. He feared a lot that he will lose a lot of stuff, and he lost them. So sometimes what you fear most will come upon you, because as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. If you think failure, you'll get failure. Like you've sowed the seed. You sow the seed of failure, the harvest will surely be failure. So what seeds are you sowing right from today? What are you telling yourself on a daily basis? That a colleague calls you, oh, this NCLEX, you're not saying anything positive. It's all about negativity. This NCLEX looks like they made the system so hard, and it looks like you can't pass and all of that. Why are you saying this? But you also go and sit behind your desk and you are preparing to pass. You're preparing to pass, but you're sowing seeds of failure already. So let's be mindful of what we are thinking, what we are saying, because there will be seeds and you will surely get a harvest. So has this session blessed you? Give me your feedback. So focus on preparation. Don't focus on, I'm going to buy. Focus on preparation. When you prepare, it will surely show in the outcome. So that's why here at MedCognito, this is what we focus on. We focus on mindset mastery. I am doing a certification program in thinking, and we always guide our students, help them to build mental toughness, to really work on their thinking so that they win the exam, they pass the exam in their mind, in their thinking before they even show up. You have to do the work in your thinking first before you show up, because you show up there knowing that by hook or hook, I have to pass, and I'm going to do everything it takes to pass, no matter the number of case studies I'm getting. And people will say, oh, you're getting too many case studies, maybe you're not passing and all. No, I'm not going to entertain any negativity. So we deal more with the mindset, and then help with the content, and then we give you the strategy.